All right, we're live. All right, I'm here with Mariah Martinez with Potter Park Zoo. And why don't we just start out with a little bit about your role at Potter Park Zoo?
Yes. So I am the Equity and Engagement Program Manager at Potter Park Zoo. I've been here for 7 years. So right out of college, came to the zoo and stayed and haven't left since. And I don't know when I would leave because I mean, we just have so much we can do here. And I really love how open we are to doing the things. So my job is some programming, some community programming. I call myself the free lady because it's all free. So from Falconers, which is our sensory friendly programming that is free to families, to Zoo in Your Neighborhood, which is our free zoo passes out in the community. I also oversee those, but I also just literally diversity, equity, access, and inclusion is my top priority here. And I'm constantly just finding new things for us to do and new ways for us to improve.
Do you work with like a lot of the different departments throughout the zoo with that? I know when I talked to DeAndrea over at Detroit Zoo, she's like, I work with this department, I work with this department, I work with this department.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's kind of where, my role started in the education department, and it does for most zoos. If you actually talk to a bunch of zoos, a lot of the times their DEI person will be in the education department, and we moved me out of that. Not because it wasn't a great department. It's just I am really for everyone, and sometimes when you're in a single department, it can seem like you're just working on things for them, and I'm not. I'm working on ways at every department, really, animal care, guest services, administration, maintenance, horticulture, all the things, and also just like being here for the staff. So it's also part of my job to make sure our employees are happy, kind of see what we can do to improve staff, like the workplace and things. So yeah, I really am. I'm just kind of someone for everyone.
And then let's start talking about some of the programs that you guys have. As far as like you guys said, the Falconers, you work with Culture City. You mentioned before we went live, Mid-Michigan Autism Association. So why don't you kind of go through the different programs and different things that you guys have done at the zoo to, um, I would say, increase accessibility or expand it?
Yeah. And so Falconers started in 2016, so before I was here, but a couple years in is when I took over. So I've been with the program for, the whole 7 years I've been here. But it was started for those with autism, just children, which is where that big acronym comes from, Falconers, that we don't use and we don't have falcons. I'm just gonna mention it right off the bat because yeah, people do think we often have falcons, and it's just really a sensory friendly, sensory inclusive program once a month because the zoo is a very overwhelming place. So just having a day out of each month that a family knows we can make sure we can go to the zoo during this time and we'll have all the things from, whether it's like less music or just less crowds. I feel like at a zoo, it's just less crowds is what you need. Because the zoo is so like therapeutic itself, just with the animals and nature. But yeah, so just it's once a month and it's completely free and families just need to register so I at least know they're coming. And we do have that partnership with Culture City since 2019, and they've provided us signage, bags, reoccurring trainings for myself. Like they have webinars and things, and they've been wonderful to work with. I can't believe when you can work with someone one on one like them. Um, but we also
What's
do, yeah, go ahead.
what's yeah, what's So for the Falconers, is there a specific day every month? Is it like I don't remember, is the first Saturday,
Yeah,
first?
so I think back in the day, it used to be a certain like the third Saturday. But I really like to be at every single one of these. If I'm not there, it's like the world is ending. So like me, like having a baby was like the one reason I couldn't come. But no, so I do kind of work it around my schedule so I can make sure it's like the best program that day, that we have the proper staff, but it's usually on a Friday night or Saturday. So for the
Okay.
most part. So Friday nights have worked really well during the summer. I mean, it's just beautiful here and like no one's in the zoo. Like that's my point, right? Is like to always make sure it's really sensory friendly, that no one's really in here besides them, the families. Now during the winter months, we see really decreased admission. So we'll do during the day on a Saturday. And then randomly we'll have like a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, maybe if we're doing something special like Wonderland of Lights or a dinner. We do at least 1 to 2 dinners a year for our families, and those will be on odd nights. And that's usually to help the restaurants because that provide us the food. But yeah, it's kind of all over the place, but kind of not. We did move to like nighttime because that was a big request by our families that the mornings were just really hard.
And then as far as the Culture City, the bags, what's included in a bag if somebody chooses to, want to have one of those?
Yeah, so when we started with the bags and they provided them for us, it's a lot of fidgets for the most part, something that they can wear, a lanyard they can wear that kind of says that they have a bag or that they might have sensory sensitivities, which is really actually really helpful for our staff. But you don't have to wear one. But then we added, which I know they have now, I believe, was sunglasses. And at the time they didn't have sunglasses, but we've added sunglasses. They gave us headphones. We actually have additional headphones just for checkout because that was another request was like we don't need the bag but we could use headphones, so we do try to have those available. But yeah, just a lot of fidgets, a sensory map, so a different type of map is included as well. And then but yeah, and we try to like change out the items every now and then. And they're great. We have over 10 on site.
Where does somebody find those, if they come to the zoo?
Mhm. So on a normal admission day, you can find them at the Welcome Center or at the membership desk. We have both areas with them. And we also have weighted lap pads. They're not used as much anymore since we don't do as many on-site programs. We do have them. And then when there's a Falconers event, if it's after hours, I just usually we pass them out right at admissions and have them right for you.
Cool. How about other partnerships that you have?
Yeah, so we have the partnership with Mid-Michigan Autism Association. I am the secretary, so I've been part of, I think it was 5 years I celebrated. I couldn't remember. So, but it's just been a wonderful organization to partner with. I know you know just as much as I do about MMAA, and they've done some trainings with our staff over the years, a couple. And then just being part of it, like it's just a partnership that, has allowed us to get the word out, to let people know like we're a trusted place, because I feel like if MMAA shares it, like, that's a good sensory friendly program. It's been vetted, there's probably a great process in place. So, but yeah, so we have that, and I always am able to use the resources that we come up with as well.
Any other partnerships that you want to touch on?
So, and then we have just we're like just doing things like looking in the future. We're always trying to expand our accessibility. Like it's never like a destination, like I think we've all heard this, like it's a journey. So we did this accessibility assessment. And it's an arts and culture one, but it works for anyone, zoos, organizations, and it's with Open Doors Arts. And so it basically told us where we're like falling through, where we haven't really hit yet. And so just things like that, we're always open to feedback. We love that someone actually gave us, 250 questions. We filled it out and they said, here's what you're missing. Here is where you need to improve. And we're doing that. So, but we always love, when people review or send us like a message like, hey, I would love for you to do this or love for you to do that, because we take that feedback. Really, it's really important to us. And we've done a lot of different things in the zoo because someone said, hey, this isn't how it should be.
Yeah, it's stuff that you may not notice and somebody else notices. It's always helpful when people give you good feedback on that kind of stuff. Because if you don't notice it or see it, like how are you going to come up with it? But
And I
if
think that's the hard thing when you have a person like myself. Like, it's great that the zoo hired me and has me, but I'm one person. I only have my, set of eyes, and I try to do as much as I can. But like, so I tell my staff, I said, you are all different, every single one of you. So if you see something that I don't, let me know. Or again, with my partnerships, if you're walking around and you see something, tell me, because, we might just be missing it just a little bit.
yep. Um, how about just the zoo in whole? Like, why don't you just kind of tell us what type of attractions and animals and what people can expect when they visit?
Yeah, so Potter Park Zoo we call it small, technically based on like the Associations of Zoos and Aquariums. We're a medium zoo. I just don't agree because that's just,
Really?
you can get through us in 30 minutes. If you just wanted to walk real quick, you could do that. But we're only 20 acres, but you get here and you see a big park, there's another 80 acres around us. So it just seems like we're bigger than we are. But we have some really awesome animals. And I mean, the main goal of zoos like ourselves is conservation and education and accessibility to everyone. So we have rhinos, black rhinos, which is an incredible thing to, animal to have. We've had the birth of a baby rhino back in 2020. I'm trying to remember, 2019. So no longer here, but again, we're doing really great conservation work. We have everything from, tufted deer to little tiny tree shrews to kangaroos, and we're open all year round. So there's a few zoos that are accredited in Michigan that are not open all year round, but we are 364 days. That's important to remember because we want to see you. And the animals love the winter. Most of our animals do. They really do. The kangaroos jump around. It's a great time. And we have brand new paths. So if you haven't been here yet, which I still see comments of people saying like our paths need to be fixed. And I was like, well, then you haven't been here in the last year because they are beautiful. I mean, it was one of the things that all of us, like, I mean, I remember one time with my grandmother, she was like, I just can't walk your entire zoo. And I said, that's fine. Like, we'll get you a wheelchair. That was the hardest hour and a half of my life because we had so many potholes, we had so many little divots, and
Yeah.
it just took a couple of us. Someone else did it once, and we just were like, no, like we knew we had to get it fixed, but it cost millions to do that. And
Yeah.
we finally got the funds, and yeah, and it's a game changer for families with strollers, for those that are using wheelchairs or motor carts or canes. It's accessibility 101 to have better paths. So just come out and check those out, which is Wild Wanderers. Have you heard of Wild Wanderers?
No, I haven't.
So it is like a walking program, but we do want but we want everyone to come out where it's 8 to 9 a.m. from I think we're doing April 1st next year. Don't quote me.
Really?
But we do it during the spring and summer, right? So for 1 hour before the zoo opens, completely free, you can join a program where you can just come walk. Or use any kind of mobility device that you have or need to rent during that 1 hour. And it was a success this year. It gave people a reason to get up in the morning. It gave them a safe place to walk. And that's another thing that like people don't really know is that the zoo's 24/7 security. So like if you're looking for that place of security, knowing like you need to just take a walk, you need to get out in nature, you can do that here.
Yeah, the paths are definitely nice. When we came out and did the filming, like everything's so smooth now and brand new. I think when we were out there, you guys were just finishing up that area in front of the one of the buildings. I remember you had like a cat vehicle in there. You guys were doing in that open space, but I think everything was pretty much done at that point when we filmed the virtual tour there.
Well, and that was the biggest thing these last few, years is I feel like I've been talking with Megan for years, like years about virtual tours. And we first did the buildings and that was great. And I'm just like, I want the entire zoo. It's been on top of my list forever. And our zoo director's like, we're game, but we got to get these pass done. And it was the best decision. Like if we would have done them with the old pass, it just doesn't
We'd had to
even,
reshoot it, and it would have been a
it would
waste of
have, yeah.
money
And
because
it
then
just
you have
is,
to refilm that. Yeah.
and that's the thing you can see with that virtual tour is how great the paths are, how smooth they are, how they go right up to the exhibits, and it was worth the wait. I'm glad we were able to do like the buildings in the meantime, but which are also great tours that everyone uses. We have lots of clicks on them, and we send them out every Falconers. Every month you'll get those that here's the virtual tour if you want to prepare, if you want to see it, and yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, you're the first zoo with the full outside and inside.
Very proud of that. Very proud of that. And we love it. We absolutely love it. When our directors were just like reviewing it, they're like, this is awesome. And then we went through it with our staff and you can just really plan your visit. Social stories are great, right? But if you could actually just like put yourself in the zoo and put yourself where you need to go and what you need to prepare for, it's great.
Anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover about the zoo?
I mean, important things, we're open all year round. Admission's really, really inexpensive right now. I think it's $5 for adults, $4 for kids. Of course, you can use the free zoo passes to go check them out at your local libraries, but our admission is really low and no parking until March 31st. And that's really important. I mean, we want everyone to be able to access the zoo, and that's why we have the zoo passes as well. Like, we don't want any financial barriers to come in the way of accessing the zoo. And then, yeah, we've got our Falconers events going to go again next year. So we'll have, we have the one coming up soon, and then we have all next year, all 12.
I know something we didn't cover. Like special events throughout the year. So obviously you guys do like Boo at the Zoo. So that's October-ish, right? So you guys do that every year, and then you do the I don't know what you guys call it. It's the lights for like the holiday season. Are there you want to talk a little bit about those two? Are there any of those other times of the year that you have anything like that?
Yeah. So we do get our down season coming up. So it's just a great time to visit. But we really, we have like Zoo Nights, which is our 21 and over event that starts around May, June, and that goes through the summer. But then Zoo Days is like that really big event that comes in July where we have vendors and we have mascots and all the fun things. Admission's like a couple dollars, I think, sponsored by Meyer. And then we get into like Boo at the Zoo. and then we have Wonderland of Lights. And so those are just, I mean, the Wonderland of Lights is going on all through November through December, and it's Thursdays through Sundays from 5 to 8, and it is wonderful. I mean, especially that when a fresh snow hits, you need to run here. Like when that snow first hits, like that fresh snow. I mean, we have it right now, but like it's the best. And yeah, those are all like fundraising events. I think a lot of people don't know that too, is like Boo at the Zoo in Wonderland are special events put on by the society, which is the nonprofit that I work for. There's 12 of us employees, I think 13 actually now. So we are running all of our education, all of our memberships. We're providing funds for the zoo, like trying to just do what we can. And that's what they are. They're just fundraising events so that we can keep bettering the zoo and our staff and our animals.
Sweet. Well,
Yes.
thanks so much for jumping on.
Yeah, no, thanks. I always enjoy with Able Eyes. I can't say enough. So, an Able View, like that has been amazing. We do have an Able View page, so we probably should mention that as well. It is everything's pictured, I feel like. I don't know if I could add anything else, but if I could, let me know. But I try to do bathrooms. I mean, everything is on our Able View page.
We have we kicked off version 2, so it's starting to be worked on right now with our developers. So I know Megan's super excited about that. All the feedback we've gotten from kind of our first version of it and how we can make it better. So I think it's gonna be pretty cool once that's up
Yeah.
and rolling. Yep.
As much as I like, if you find me on Yelp, don't find me on Yelp. But if you did, like, I love reviewing and I like doing good reviews. I'm a very like positive person in that sense, but it's just like the same thing. Like I'm a no, which is the no before you go. I'm not trying to like plug Ableize right now, but like I am literally no before you go. I know the menu, I know the venue, I know how I'm getting into the venue. I love all of that. So that's exactly what I feel like AbleView helps us do. Because the virtual tours are great, but this just breaks it down a little bit. It has, descriptions. It's like the Yelp of accessibility. So, and I'm all for it.
I think we need to trademark that know before you go, because I'm starting to see it all over the place. Like sporting like arenas are using it. And I'm like, we might just need to trademark this so nobody can use it anymore.
No, I seriously saw it the other day and I was like, they stole that. I
Oh
was
yeah.
so mad. I was
I'm
like,
seeing it all the time now. I'm like,
okay, good thing you said that because I
no,
was about to start screenshotting and like sending. I was like, this is no, no. But yes, I've seen it too. And I was like, all right.
I know. Yeah, maybe we need to think about that. Well, cool. Thanks for jumping on with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. All right, we'll talk soon.
Yes.